Field cruising down. The pace car dives to pit road. We are green flag here. The Wawa 250 is underway. Great push on the outside here with Justin Allgaier, helping AJ Allmendinger well clear of Gragson on the inside, but that inside line is going to form up here. AJ's going to pull down, go ahead and take that over. This is what we expected to see early in this race, is that bottom line to form and kind of be where you want to be. So we'll see if that happens, if they can stay too wide. We know they've changed this package a little bit. The engine's a little bit different. Will that change the way these cars draft, pass, react to each other?
Yeah, basically NASCAR looked at the last Xfinity Series race and they wanted to bring speeds down just a little bit for safety. So they took a little bit of horsepower out of these cars, and I actually think that's going to make the drivers' jobs more difficult. I think that little bit decrease in horsepower, Jeff, while the speed, it's going to look the same. They are running crazy fast around this racetrack, but the skill level behind the wheel, I think you're going to have to time and work hard for those runs.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be harder to pull up to somebody to give them a push. You're not going to be able to just easily run up behind them and hit them and knock them out in front of someone. And the side drafting, pulling someone down, making them go slower next to you will be even more effective.
The other thing we did is after that scary Joey Logano crash at Talladega, there's a bar that they've added to these race cars. Hopefully we don't test that at all tonight. Try to get a little bit more structure in case one of these things gets upside down. But you see it, as you said already, that 16 out there dominating, and the 9 of Noah Gragson. He's just kind of blocking both lanes, trying to help his teammate on the outside, but no real runs behind him.
He doesn't want that inside line to get a run on him, so his teammate is in the outside, but that's what he's doing. He's watching that, out of the mirror, way more out of the mirror than out of windshield. He saw Allgaier coming, came up on the outside to block that, and AJ leading, he matched that. He went up to the top as well. Spotters are working really hard right now, telling these two leaders what is going on behind them.
All right, so Junior, if you're Allgaier out there leading, it's not a teammate behind you. How much well, here we go. We're going to have a little run right here from the 2 JRM cars. Energy for the 9. Can he make a move? Kind of stalls out. How much is the 16? Oh, sorry. Let's go to pit road, Marty.
Hey, Steve, I was going to talk about what Noah Gragson's doing back there. And, Jeff, I have a question for you. Noah told me when I won here last year, I was aggressive. I kept the car out front, and I understood the energy of the pack, and that paid off late in the race. He said when you're in the back of the pack, I don't know what to do. I don't know how the pack works and who to work with. So talk about the driver mentality of keeping it up front and why that's important all night.
Yeah, I like that idea, Junior. I like the idea of just going out, start of the race, saying, I want track position. I'm going to do everything I can to get it and then do everything I can to keep it. You see right there, Noah going to the lead.
Yeah, great little pass right there, but Noah Gragson using the energy off of the push from behind to make a pass there, being aggressive. Also, you see the 7 very aggressive on the back bumper of the 16 car of AJ Allmendinger.
And remember, in this series, you can run up behind a guy and hit him, but you cannot lock bumpers and push. If you do, NASCAR is going to black flag you for safety reasons. They don't want these guys pushing each other.
I would say it's like dribbling a basketball right on top of the ground. You want to tap the back of that bumper and kind of dribble on the back bumper of that car. But if you lock bumpers and push, NASCAR is going to see that. They're not going to like it, as we got another pass for the lead.
Look on the bottom left, you see that Whoop Live data. We have Justin Allgaier's heart rate already over 150 up here, racing for the lead.
AJ goes to the top to block that run. 9 car had a pretty good run there, but AJ gets up there and uses the energy off the nose of that 9 car to give him some momentum down the back straightaway. The 7 car of Allgaier, that's one thing that we think we're going to see a lot of. Not only we're going to see blocks, but the pushing. We're going to see aggressive pushing, and these cars don't tend to like to be pushed. We've seen them have many bad wrecks here where the cars get spun off the nose of another.
Noah jumped up on the outside of AJ Allmendinger, but he didn't clear him. Now AJ Allmendinger is leading that inside line. That inside line hasn't had a lot of momentum, hasn't had a lot of speed, but now with that Chevrolet out front, let's see if that inside line is better.
159 beats per minute for Justin Allgaier. Sustained heart rate, 160. That's higher than we see people when they go out for a run. That's how much energy and work these drivers have.
I get pretty uncomfortable around 175. That's when I'm out there riding the bike. I ride about 20 miles a week, and when I get around 175, that's pretty uncomfortable. So I'm surprised by that number. That's higher than I would expect.
Lap 6.
Yeah.
Early in this race.
It's
It's all
just
right there. That Allmendinger got out in front. Now can the 19 clear Noah? looks like a 20 behind the 19. He's not really able to pull up to him and give him a lot of help.
We're starting to see that bottom work better, though, and a lot of guys, more and more guys are going to see that happening. Okay, the bottom's better, the outside line is backing up. More guys are going to try to bail on this outside line if they don't get organized.
And Junior, one advantage of running the bottom for the fans at home, that double yellow line below that's out of bounds. So you know if your left side tires are on it, you don't have to protect left. They can't pass you down below that. So I think that actually helps these drivers a little bit. They only have to block on the outside lane.
Dave.
Joe Gibbs Racing likes what they're seeing out of that bright yellow number 19 car running behind the leader, A.J. Allmendinger. That's Brandon Jones, and that's a brand new race car. The first 2 super speedway races of the year, disasters, crashes. Those cars were totaled. Crew Chief Jeff Mengering told me this is a brand new race car for us, and even though we didn't get any wind tunnel time, I can just tell by the way the body was pieced together, the way it came together, and the way it looks, this is going to be a fast race car. So far, Brandon's holding right in there.
Right there in the bottom of your screen, or the bright yellow number 19. If you look around the right side of the windshield, it looks like the 19's pushing water already. That is concerning for the 19. There you see it really good on that shot right there. So you see it. You see the steam. Great shot right there by our cameraman. Great work.
You get right on their ass.
So the grill looks like it has something on it. I don't know how that got so dirty.
The problem is, how does
Like
he
a tear off?
Yeah, so
Bagging our water here, plus 40, almost
like a
to
winch.
plus 60.
Well, there's
Water pressure's packed.
Oil pressure's packed. They're going to have to pit. There's a competition yellow around lap 15. That's 7 more laps. There's no way this car can run 20 more miles. You just need to come to pit road, lose a lap, and that's okay. Get the lap back at the comp yellow.
he could just bail out right here and try to get behind this pack and see if he could get that pulled off. That would be what I would be trying to do right now. There's not going to be a hole for him to jump in to try to get behind another car. He just needs to just pull over, let everybody go, and see if he can get that pulled off.
Water like crazy.
And the Harrison Burton behind him, he's seeing that.
And that's one reason why that water outlet is there.
Here, pull down,
out of the way here.
Come to the pit.
That's pretty smart to
Pit,
do
pit.
this on the back
Just get out of it.
straightaway so that he doesn't, surprise anybody on the exit of turn 4. He's really going to get this thing slowed down.
He's blown up.
I would have loved to see him and that team make a decision much sooner. Get that car out of line and try to get that debris pulled off of the grill much sooner than this.
Okay, because the problem is now, you see all that steam? You know what that is? Water. And that's water that's no longer in the system. So they may be able to get the debris off the grill, but they're going to have to decide and come up with a plan of when they're going to put water back in this car, or it will not make it the rest of the way. Dave.
No hoses over the walls so far, like they would be going to lift the hood and put water back in that race car, but he'll bring it down here slowly. They get the debris off of the front there, and who cares what the body's like, right? If that motor is gone, this has been all for naught for Brandon Jones. So they'll make a chassis adjustment here, get the debris out, and they'll leave it for now, guys. We'll see what happens.
I don't hate that call. You know in 5 more laps you're going to have a yellow. You probably would have less damage putting the water in under yellow.
AJ continues to lead Daytona. NASCAR Drive is your live race day companion. Follow your favorite drivers with high-definition in-car cameras or select an alternate camera angle to see more action. Select up to 8 different cameras. Watch 4 at once with multi-camera view. Visit NASCAR.com/drive or download the NASCAR mobile app today.
I didn't think we were going to see this, guys. It looked like everybody was pretty patient up top until the comp yellow, but Junior Motorsports teammates gang up on the 16 of Allmendinger. The 9's going to take over the lead. Now he's going to go to the bottom. No, the top. He's a little undecided. This is how it happened.
Big run right here from Noah Gragson. And AJ really said, you know what? I'm going to stay up here on the top. I don't think anybody's going to go with you. And guess what? People did go with him.
He tried to get down there and side draft the 9. Couldn't make it work.
And a little footnote, a little bit farther back, you see that bright yellow number 19 of Brandon Jones who had the debris on the grill. He has lost a lap, but he's feeling, hey, competition yellow, I should be the free pass, so he's feeling good about it. The engine's still running, so a little bit of relief.
Parker.
Well, guys, if you look at the back of that lane there, you see that 99 car driven by Chase Briscoe. He started all the way back in 37th, and coming into this, as you guys know, when you're a Cup driver, it comes down these lower series, sometimes you have a lot of confidence. Well, he had a lot of confidence. He was telling everyone that would listen, I'm going to be in the top 10 by lap 3. Did he achieve it? No, he was in the top 20, but now, 15 laps in, he has found the top 10. Very happy inside that 98 car. Man, I don't know what it is. When you go down a series, sometimes you just have the confidence you're going to do something amazing. He got pretty close.
Some nights we don't have Cup influence in this field, but tonight we've got 2 guys running in this race that are Cup regulars, and they do change the energy in the field. Cautions out for the competition yellow. The other driver in the 54 car there you see was Christopher Bell, another Cup regular competing tonight.
And every time he sits in an Xfinity car, he is immediately one of the favorites. He is the guy you're going to have to beat tonight.
Anybody that sits in that 54 is a favorite.
I was going to say, I can't drive. I wanted to give it a shot. I mean, man.
I'm glad I'd be up here watching.
I'd buy that ticket. Well, the 19 of Jones is definitely going to get the free pass here, and like you said, Steve, be interesting to see if they want to put a little water in that car while they got a time here.
Yeah,
Junior, it's ready, guys. It is ready down here on pit road, and they're going to put some in for sure when he comes down.
There you go. Great update, Dave. Thanks. We'll take a look at that. You always get concerned when you open that system. You think it's going to go simply. You practice it. You hook the 2 hoses on. You know, it basically, all it is, it recirculates the system. It puts fresh water in, takes whatever air or, you know, out, and Jeff, you and I were having that conversation. You're like, well, it's not that bad, it's just steam. But, you know, these cars don't hold as much water as they used to, so it doesn't take a lot.
Yeah, Steve, explain how they get water in a pressurized system when it's hot. At home, you can't take the radiator cap off, right? It'll burn you and it'll cause big problems. So how do you get water in this car?
Yeah, you can tell right here. This is what happens when a pressurized system gets too hot, right? Just like your radiator cap at home, the steam comes out. Well, now they're going to come down pit road, open the hood, and they're going to connect. They have 2 ways to do it. You can connect 2 hoses, one and in, one and out, and just recirculate water, and it will let all the air bubbles out. The second option is you literally can just hook 1 hose to it, and it will go until water goes out that overflow. I don't like the second option. I've seen radiator damage. I've seen other damages. I like the 2 hose option because you relieve the pressure off the system as well. We'll see how the 19 decides to do it. Watch your fingers now. Those front belts on the front of that engine are still going to be spinning.
Well, there's pressure on the racetrack tonight. Steve, you know all too well there's pressure on the golf course as well. FedEx Cup playoffs continue at the BMW Championship. Last chance to make it to East Lake and be a contender at the Tour Championship. Coverage of the BMW Championship tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern on NBC.
And I was excited today. There was a 59 watch. Bryson DeChambeau shot a 60, missed like a 6-foot putt for 59. I was, I don't know if I was cheering for him or against him, but it's such a momentous task to shoot 59. I had to be cheering for him. He had a shot at 58, missed 2 putts. It was unbelievable.
Was that on the front nine or the back nine?
No, that wasn't you and I. These are professionals.
Oh, that's for all of them?
That's right. Oh, a little surprised to see some of the leaders come in here. I didn't expect to see it.
Steve says there's no strategy to these races. Man, I knew not to believe that. Parker.
Well, guys, the 98 there, Riley Herbst, is coming down because they said they had a little bit of damage up on the roof. They wanted to check out. Maybe the car got hit by something. You'll see them do 4 Goodyear tires here. And then Richard Boswell, the crew chief, was talking them through what they're going to do to that roof hatch, Marty.
See Justin Allgaier on pit road. You see the adjustment there going down 2 rounds on the track bar. He said the car was loose, and he had an interesting radio conversation with his team and said, I'm okay with the aggressive move the 9 made. I just need to know as his teammate when he's going to make that move. That one caught me by surprise.
So the bottom of the screen. We see them checking the roof of the 98. Not sure about that. The 19 of Jones was really, really slow. I don't know if he's cycling the engine, Jeff, maybe trying to cool it off. So what you can do, shut the engine off, roll a little bit, start it up, and it cycles the water in the radiator, try to get the temperature down. That would make it a little bit easier to put water in, a little bit less pressure in the system. Let's take a look at how successful they are at this on this 19. All right, Dave, let's see how good they do.
What they did, Steve, was last time he came by at speed, the car sounded sick. They may have damaged that motor beyond repair, but we'll see. And then they shut it off going down the backstretch, Brandon Jones did, just to cool it down some more. And then he fired it back up to get it to pit road. So that was kind of the disparity there. Now we'll see if they can get some water in it, but it did not sound good when he came by the start-finish line last time.
Well, you see the whoop live on the driver. Good thing we don't have whoop live on the engine. I'm not sure the beats per minute would not be so good on that engine as they put some water in. We'll come back and see how this 19 looks.
You can see it on the screen, on the roof cam, the leaf filter car of Justin Haley. We've got a little bit of participation falling from the skies here in Daytona. It is summertime in Florida. A couple of pop-up showers. Hopefully this doesn't last too long. Coming down pretty heavy though at this particular point, but these sails are kind of broken up and we have some windows behind those. We got a quick look at the radar to show you what we're seeing. There you go. So
your optimism reminds me of that man in the what's the golf movie? I'm trying to think.
You know, I won some races here, and a couple of important big ones. The one I won with you, the Daytona 500, big delay, but
man.
So I'm okay with it. But the 19 car, Jones pushing his car behind the wall. Apparently, Steve, they did some damage to that motor when the grill got covered up there with the tear off.
So I'm not judging because I've made this mistake. Jeff, you've made the mistake. I think we're showing our age when you say there's nothing you can do. You have debris on the grill. You have to just come in quicker. It seems like they ran it too hot, too long without water. In the end, that engine's expired, so that day was over for the 19.
Yeah, you know, Jack Roush told me a long time ago, you can't be in denial, right? When you have a problem, you can't be in denial. You got to address it. And unfortunately, crew chief, driver, spotter just needed to make a much quicker decision.
And as I sit there looking at the driver and see the rain falling at a super speedway, I have anxiety right now thinking about radios. Get those radios dry. That's the one thing that always goes wrong after rain is the radios. And this is a track you got to have clear communication. So as soon as NASCAR will let him, you see the crew member right through the driver's window. He's just waiting for the green light from NASCAR.
The funny thing about it is that these at Daytona, man, the storms and the rain comes fast. It's like these guys aren't even really as prepared because they're so unexpected. But the track and the humidity, it's a big race track, but it's a big course, and the humidity in the air, the track temp that's been created by the start of the race, all those things work in our favor.
And I'm going to be interested to see, you know, we talked about it. They had a little power. We weren't sure how the race was going to be. Well, now they had a little test, right? They had a little 15-lap test. Now they're going to get out, talk to their crew chiefs, and be like, hey, man, we can trim this car a little bit more. Handling doesn't matter. Or, nope, the car is sliding around. Why don't you know, change it a little bit? This will be a good little debrief session for the teams.
Well, we had Kelly, Brad, and DJ up in the booth. Well, now they're back to the Peacock pit box, and we're going to hear from those guys after the break. All right, remember we had a comp yellow. Guys did pit, so the lineup's a little jumbled right now with some guys up front we typically don't see, but we're back under green. Here for the Wawa 250 at Daytona. AJ Allmendinger under control. He's got some good help from Austin Cindric on this restart. That outside line already very organized, guys, as they go off into turn one.
You know, Brett Moffitt, he was on the bottom lane. He saw a hole on the outside. He's in that 02 car. He jumped up and got in that outside lane.
There's a couple guys that are not at the front. We showed them in the highlight reel, and that's really, you know, Harrison Burton, Gregson, Allgaier, those guys all pitted. So, you know, that's why they're back there in traffic. Getting organized quickly up front, single file, front 6 cars.
AJ brings them back down to the bottom. There's an opportunity there, I think, for them to control that out that high side. Cindric goes to the top. He says, come on up here, AJ. Let's organize on the top. Try to take away that opportunity for that bottom line to form up and do anything.
And Noah Gregson, he had his teammate Michael Annett on the bottom. He jumped on the outside, made it 3 wide, got in front of him. Now he's the second car.
And look at that inside line struggling. The guys can't get close enough together to be able to push each other. Jeff Burton's probably freaking out right now, thinking he's just going to continue to drop back through this field. He's looking for help from behind, looking for an opportunity to get into a hole in that high line.
What I do like about this bottom line as we ride on board with Jeff Burton is look who's in it. You know, well, I was going to say they were going to stick with one another, but perhaps these Junior Motorsports cars, you have the 9 of Gragson, the 1 of Annette behind him, the 2 other Junior Motorsports cars, although Annette doesn't like what Gregson's thinking. He said, man, we're going to run the other line. Where are you going? Why are you going to the middle? They're going to hang him out.
Well, Annette just paid it back. Like Annette was sitting there running the bottom. He wanted some help, and Noah didn't give it to him. So when Annette got to him, he's like, hey, man, you do it to me, I'm going to do it to you.
You wonder why, you know, the 9 car Gragson would make that move. And it did not pay off, but with this new package, a little less horsepower, I think early in the race, you got to try everything. You're going to fail. Everything's not going to work. Go out there and learn what does work, how these cars react in the draft.
And I'll go one further, Jeff. In my opinion, young drivers like Noah haven't had this lesser horsepower in their career. We have seen more horsepower, more runs. I don't think they've quite had the patience that you guys had to have in your careers, how you had to work these runs that took multiple laps. I think we're going to see a little bit of that impatience show off today and spots be lost.
Yeah, they got a ton to learn. This is a whole different package for them, Marty.
And Jeff, that's a terrific point you guys bring up. And I talked to Noah Gragson about that earlier in the day before he climbed in the car. And he said, yeah, if I get shuffled out, I want to learn everything I can because I need to understand the horsepower and what we have with this package. So if I do get shuffled out, I'm going to try and get to the back, learn what I can. And you see him trying everything. He's tried the middle. Now he's trying to go 3 wide on the top.
Take every run you get. That's kind of my philosophy to any of these guys that give me a call and want some pointers. I'm like, go out there and try everything. And some things will work, some won't, but you're going to always be learning. Dave.
So patience as a driver is sometimes, how we say, modified by the spotter that you have. Jeb Burton's weekly spotter is a guy named Freddie Kraft, but when they go to super speedway races, they hire the services of veteran Brett Griffin. He is spotting for the 10 car today, and he is more aggressive, more direct, and he'll have Jeb Burton making more daring moves today in this Chevrolet.
Brett Griffin's a long-time spotter for me for a long time. Really good on super speedways, gives a ton of information.
One thing I'm surprised by is just how racy these guys have become. We saw it last night, side by side for a majority of the first 19 laps. And again today, as we have refired these cars and got this race going, this inside line hasn't been able to dominate. The outside line hasn't really been able to dominate. A lot of side-by-side action throughout the field. I'm surprised to see that early in this race. Marty.
And Dale, we've seen the College cars pick each other up now. They told A.J. Allmendinger earlier, don't stay with the 10, your teammate on the bottom. Go up and pick up the 11. There you see him doing that. Now you'll see him move down, try and pick up the 10 from that bottom line. So really, more what's happening here than anything, the College cars trying to help each other out.
Oh, we got a car in the wall. All of a sudden, Cindric is in the wall, net spins.
Daniel Hammer gets collected. Mike Snyder through the asphalt. Michael Annette, the 8 of Sam Mayer. Dale Jr., you mentioned this on our call this week. You thought this less power, these guys would have to take the runs. The blocks perhaps would be easier, but the guys would be less likely to lift. And then we might see some more issues on the straightaway. And that's where this one started.
Turn to the left.
Let's go back and see what happened. See damage on Michael Annette's car.
Oh, Myatt Snyder pushes the 2 on that left rear. We've seen this time and time again. You just can't get on that left rear bumper cover. It pushes the cars to the right, and this is what happens. They're connected, and then as the 2 moves a little left, the 22 feels like he has to put some wheel in it, and that combination just doesn't work. Myatt Snyder and the 2 trying to push the 22, trying to move forward, but the connection of those 2 cars end up pushing the 22 into the wall.
Yeah, the 22, you see him turn right, but the car got loose, and that was an overcorrection to the right. He did a great job keeping that car under control, not spinning in front of the field. This is on board the 11 car looking out back.
All 22 just got wrecked. Big wreck behind you. Keep coming. Still outside.
You know, I know if you haven't watched a lot of super speedway racing, you're wondering, why would you push somebody? Why would you hit somebody? It makes you and he go faster. When you do it, though, you've got to be lined up. You've got to be in a position where you're very square to them or offset to the right. You got to be on the right side. Michael Annette coming back from his leg injury, a former winner here at Daytona in the ARCA Series as well as in the Xfinity Series, needing a win to get into the playoffs. And you can see the damage to his race car.
Yeah, he's hoping to be able to get that car back around, change the tire to, looks like the splitter brace is pushed back a little bit on the left side. They'll have to fix that. Let's listen to the 22 radio, Austin Cindric.
All it takes is one idiot, man. Come on, right front is killed. I can't even turn to the left. Dang it!
Hear the frustration from Austin over the push that he got from Myatt. So, you know, these cars, they're not allowed to lock bumpers in tandem, but they can bump draft. And the cars are relatively comfortable, so I'm not too shocked to see someone bump drafting through the travel. But yeah, where you line up on that bumper is really critical. Lining up to the right is a little bit more comfortable for the lead car. Being offset to the left makes that lead car a little bit looser. Marty.
And Austin Cindric very frustrated. You see him climbing out of the car. They are done for the day. In fact, they've called for a tow truck for the 22 car to be able to get him back to the garage area. And Austin came into the race saying, hey, I'm a big believer in the law of averages. They won here in Daytona in February, finished second at Talladega, so he had a feeling something like this might happen this weekend. And the bigger implication for the 22 is, you remember last week at Michigan, got in a wreck. They lost a ton of points there and a wreck here early on today. So now the regular season championship for the Xfinity Series comes into question. Austin Cindric's been the dominant driver there, but now he might be in a hole to A.J. Allmendinger, who is still in this race, sitting in second.
You see Cindric sitting on the wall, requirement. You know, if he can't drive his car back, any sort of accident, he'll have to go to the infield clearance center to be checked out.
You know, pushing in the travel, you talked about these cars drive well, but this is where they're unloaded the most. In the travel, they're not planted in the racetrack as much.
The action is tight and heavy early in this race. We'll see how these drivers respond when we come back. Back at Daytona, Austin Cindric having some trouble today. It's been a difficult run over the last couple of weeks for Austin. Jeff?
Yeah, a lot of hard, close battling in Michigan. Ends up getting in this wreck. Wreck happened in front of him and got caught up into it. And, you know, he's trying to get himself in position to start these playoffs. He don't start for a few weeks, but needs that forward momentum. And then, of course, today, Steve, a little contact in the trial.
Yeah, and really it's the same idea, right? Austin Cindric 2 weeks in a row feel like that he was involved in accidents that he didn't cause, but he's not going to be the only driver. I mean, this is, we saw last week at Michigan, looked much like plate racing here at Daytona, and all weekend long here at Daytona. I mean, this is speedway racing. You're the same guy that's asking for the help, but when the help goes wrong, these are the accidents. We're going to continue to see him, as this is going to take us, I guess, to the end of the stage, right, Dale?
It is. And so Justin Haley is going to win a stage point here. His teammates, all the colleague cars, that, you know, these guys have pretty much dominated the racing at Daytona and Talladega. And this is really why. Not only, I mean, they have fast cars, but they also do such a great job working together. They're selfless, and they get them orders from the top. We're going to go there and win and dominate and finish 1, 2, 3. And when they control these races and they get up front like this, it's tough on the rest of the competition.
Yesterday when we interviewed Jeb in his car before the race, we asked him about that, you know, and he immediately said, look, I drive for Colin. We're going to finish 1, 2, 3. I hope I'm first, but if I'm not, as long as we're 1, 2, 3, it's a successful day. That's a mindset that's built there. It's working so far.
Now at this stage, though, these 3 colleague cars have yet to come to pit road, so I expect to see them have to pit now. And then I imagine those guys that pitted under that comp yellow, they'll probably stay on the racetrack since we didn't get a lot of green flag racing.
Dave, what you got on the 1 car?
So he has caught the rear of the field, guys. They have torn away some of the bracing and part of the left front fender there on the 1 car, put 4 fresh Goodyear tires on it, and sent Michael back out. He hasn't reported yet on what it feels like. It looks like it's okay. We've seen damaged race cars run well here in the past. And remember how Michael entered this race having missed 4 races. He was out of the playoff picture, 13th out of 12, 41 below the cut line. He needs points today. Exactly the opposite of what they had last week when they tried to win at Michigan with sub-driver Josh Berry. So we'll see what they can do with the rest of the afternoon. Michael's back out there.
You know, Dave's right. We have seen damaged cars win these races and run up front. I think that becomes a little more difficult today. With the reduced horsepower, any additional drag you add to that race car, it's going to be that much more difficult to overcome it. But if he can get that 1 car in the middle of the pack, it's going to run as fast as anybody around him, but I don't think he's going to be able to lead the pack. I think that's when he would get in trouble.
And Myatt Snyder as well on the racetrack behind the net there, circling the track, seems to be able to get his car going in the right direction. Here comes everybody down pit road at the end of this stage. few cars staying on the racetrack there.
But some of the guys that have already pitted may come again and just top off their fuel. It shouldn't take very long, and that way they kind of stay in front of the fuel game, Dave.
A lot of options here. I believe you'll see both of the colleague teammates, Jeb Burton on the top, Justin Haley, the stage winner, in the middle for fuel only. No, it's going to be Jeb is going to take tires, right sides at least for the teammates. They'll try to stick together and win the race off of pit road, Marty.
And then his teammate A.J. Allmendinger up front, coming into the very first pit stall on pit road. And they said, is it the plan we talked about in the truck? And Jason Trincheri said, yes, the plan we talked about in the truck. Plan A or plan B? So some confusion. It winds up being 4 tires for A.J. Allmendinger, who loses a little bit of track position, but does get those 4 fresh Goodyear tires.
A couple guys taking 4 tires, some taking none. Could be some handling issues for those guys on those old tires as we get green.
Back at Daytona, Justin Allgaier, driver of the 7, helping us out wearing a Whoop band today. And here's his normal metrics. Resting heart rate just over 50. His max when he's doing the toughest workouts, he sees up to 190 beats per minute. Well, he's doing a great job out here today and giving us kind of an insight of how much effort these drivers have put in. So this is this replay of the wreck. You see him about the 4th car on the inside. 148 beats per minute. 165 was last night in the middle of the race. Watch this. The wreck happens. He gets on the brakes, misses Myatt Snyder in the 2, goes down, grabs a gear, accelerates. Heart rate never goes up. My heart rate went up watching it. His heart rate, you want to talk about professional athetes and race car drivers, just another day in the office.
Well, I just want to say 147 is pretty high. I know his max is 190, but
yeah,
he's in the thick of it there.
We're not going to broadcast mine from up here. I get excited when I see these races.
Well, the field's coming down the front straightaway, headed through the Geico restart zone. Getting the green flag from the flag man. We're back underway. Brandon Brown leading this field down the front straightaway. Has no help on the inside there, no organization.
Chase Briscoe in that 99 car, his teammates, Riley Herbst, in an outside lead. As soon as that hole got created, he jumped in the middle of it to be behind his teammate. Allgaier going through the middle, trying to make it 3 wide. He saw that train of Chevrolets behind him, and when he saw that, he jumped to the middle, knowing they would come with him, and there they are. They're all lined up behind him.
And we see this. You see that bright big car at the bottom, Jason White in the 66. I just don't think Allgaier has the confidence. A car he hasn't seen up there yet, so he wants to kind of eliminate him. I wouldn't be shocked if he kind of does the same thing to the 68. Try to get those Junior Motorsports Chevys to the front.
Pretty impressive so far, though, out of the 68. Brown able to hang right here on the inside, battling for the lead down the front straightaway. He just needs a little bit of help from the cars behind him. Justin gets pushed out by A.J. Allmendinger, but A.J.'s 3 wide. Ain't able to break through and break free of that. He's got side drafts on both sides of his car, so it's kind of hard to get pushed out from that. Now he does, and he goes to the inside. A.J. Allmendinger being aggressive here. Takes that position away.
That's an impressive move. He still had a run there until he got a little block from the 68, but he easily clears the 7. Now he'll be the lead. He doesn't move up in front of him, though.
Marty.
Hey, Junior, I want to ask you, Jason Trincheri made the call for those 4 fresh Goodyear tires. Does that make you in a mindset like A.J. Allmendinger when you have those 4 fresh tires? Hey, I can be a little more aggressive here versus everybody else who took 2.
Caution's out on the racetrack. Got debris. When I saw the guys, Marty, not take tires, that was interesting to me. You can't be quite as aggressive. There's the debris on the racetrack. When you have new tires, you can steer that car, do all you want, block, be aggressive with the steering wheel, jumping up to side draft someone. It's obviously off of the 1 car here. Shredded the left front tire.
Probably had a rub from that damage and ended up shredding the tire. Now look at all the, ripped the left front fender off of it. Now all that damage we talked about a while ago, it's gotten much worse.
Now the advantage for the other cars in the accident, though, if anybody was in the draft, they instantly have found minimum speed. So they're not on the damaged vehicle policy anymore, so they can come back in. I think of the 2 of Myatt Snyder, we thought there might be a little bit of damage on the left side. If they want to continue to work on that car, they'll have the time.
Involved in that crash earlier, Austin Cindric out of the race, met up with Parker Klinger.
Right, Dale, that's the cause of the cars that we see here trying to fix damage. Was Austin Cindric in the 22 car, spun through the tri-oval. When you were getting bumped there in the left rear, was there anything different you could have done, or was it lost from there?
I'm just happy that I can at least smile to see 2 Fords leading the field. I wish that was 3 of us, so pretty upset for our Car Shop Ford Mustang team. That's 2 weekends in a row we've had race-winning capable cars, and I've probably done a total of 40 laps in the last 2 weeks, so really frustrating. to have that situation play out so early. It only takes one sometimes.
I know you're in a battle for the regular season championship.
I am now.
Yeah, with
I
the year
certainly
you've
am
had,
now.
what is that mentally? How do you move forward in these next couple races and put this behind you?
That's all you can do. I mean, we build fast race cars and we show up. I show up prepared and felt like we had a shot to win today. Felt like we had a shot to win last weekend most weeks. So I wouldn't say Darlington's statistically my best racetrack, but no reason why it can't be. Richmond and Bristol, I like those two tracks. So no, just head down and move forward.
And you can tell Austin's obviously frustrated guys, but with a couple races left here, they still could go get this regular season championship.
You see it was right on his mind, right? Marty brought it up. It's 2 weeks in a row. We showed you the Michigan wreck and then here. So, Jeff, I think it's more than just one issue, right? Back-to-back weeks has got to affect your psyche.
Well, he came in 35 points ahead of A.J. Allmendinger, but A.J. Allmendinger in that colleague racing, we know how good they are here. He could, he could gain a ton of points on him. That's his concern.
Kind of how I saw this season going for AJ. I thought they would get more and more momentum as the season went on. Kind of a veteran driver, but in a new situation in the Xfinity Series, and he's adapted really well to this series. Riley Herbst continues to lead over Chase Briscoe. More action in Daytona coming back. NASCAR on NBCSN is brought to you by Ford, built Ford proud. And by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR. Go creditone.com.
You see all this damage on Michael Annette's car. We were able to go back and find it. Here's Michael Annette. Remember, they had been in that wreck earlier because they had worked on it, probably a tire rub. He knows he has a problem right here, trying to keep the car off the wall. The left front tire comes apart and just rips the fender off of it. Hood's damaged, nose is more damaged. Their day just got that much more difficult, Steve.
Just going to have to continue to work on it. The concern they have right now is their damaged vehicle clock is so low that I don't think they can continue to work on this yellow. Now they have to stay on the racetrack and get to minimum speed. Right
in front of him, Daniel Hemrick, he was also in that wreck. At that end of that wreck, he went up and kind of smacked the outside wall with the right front and the right rear. They're still working on that car, trying to get it ready.
Let's listen to some audio from Justin Allgaier about the 16 car.
That 16 car, holy crap.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive.
Like, he's got by himself speed that none of us have in the draft.
Well,
yeah, he's really.
If I'm the PC for the 16, I hope I'm scanning to hear that.
He's really impressed.
Yeah.
By AJ. I mean, the colleague cars have been so dominant over the last several races at Daytona and Talladega, and the dominance in the cars is one thing, but how they work together as an organization, it just makes it so hard on anyone else to be able to even get up and try to race for the lead when there are 2 or 3 of those guys up there controlling the front of the field the entire time.
Well, it seemed to me, guys, in the last couple races at Daytona and Talladega this year, the Chevys and Colleague, although they've been winning races, they hadn't seemed like they just had so much more speed over the field. But today, I feel like they do. I feel like this car, and I think that I really believe that also all these Chevrolets look like that this lower horsepower has helped them. I just feel like they've gotten their advantage back.
Another Chevrolet looks like he's got great paces at 68. Brandon Brown, Dave.
Remember, the 2 cars that he's racing most closely are the damaged number 1 of Michael Annette and that 98 leading the field, Riley Herbst. The last 2 races, the 68 has crashed out. It's been the wrong time to do that. He's below the playoff cut line. Today, he needs to get around Herbst and Annette and work his way back into the playoffs with 4 races remaining before they do that.
See the front row teammates. Let's see if they play a little bit of strategy here to get themselves lined up in the same line after the start-finish line. Remember, you can't change lanes until you get to the start-finish line.
They're the only 2 Fords in the field up front right now. Austin Cindric knocked out of the race, so they don't have the numbers that the Chevys or the Toyotas have. And they do exactly what you thought they would, Jeff, as they work together to try to organize at the front of the field and control their track position. A lot of organization in that outside line. Everybody close together. Should create some momentum for these top 2 guys. Look at Noah Gragson having to lift a little bit. Can't quite fit in the outside groove there on the outside of the 66. Jason White controlling that car today. Look at the push the 39's giving Briscoe down into turn 3.
And that helped that outside, that helped that inside line a great deal. They all went to the bottom. That built some energy for that inside lane. Now they go back up to the top.
3 wide back here, sorts itself out. Jeb Burton dives in front of the 7 car of Justin Allgaier. Brandon Brown continues to lead that inside line with A.J. Allmendinger right behind him. A.J. looks in the rearview mirror and sees a teammate, so anything that he wants to do, whether he follows Brandon or tries to go around him, he knows he's got help.
And that's the best pusher Brandon Brown could have. The faster the car is behind you, the faster your car goes. Only problem is when that car is really fast, at any minute he's just going to shuck you out there, going to get you out of line, make that pass. But this inside lane is building some momentum now.
And I'm excited to see it. I was concerned we would see a little bit more around the top type racing, but these Chevrolets lined up at the bottom. They have a different plan. They're lined up and get a little momentum as that 68 of Brown will be nose to nose with the 98 at the line.
AJ's just not able to get to the back bumper of that 68. Shows that Brandon Brown and his team have brought a great race car this weekend. Getting a little bit unorganized behind them. AJ Allmendinger loses his draft mate. Jeb gets shuffled to the middle. 3 wide back there with Jason White. Allgaier goes by. The 8 of Sam Mayer. Just like that, he gets put in the middle. Jeb Burton loses several positions. Let's get some updates from Parker.
Right, guys, we see those 3 Fords up at that top lane leading the field here. All of that by design to try to combat those fast Chevys, as you guys have talked about. As you see, they're all linked up, including that 99 right there in the red one, who's running in second right behind Riley Herbst. That's Chase Briscoe. His sole reason for being in this race, to help a Ford get in victory lane, whether it's that 98 of Riley Herbst or even that 39 of Ryan Sieg. They're trying to add strength in numbers in the Ford camp. Right now, it's working, Marty.
Hey, Parker, we've seen the Collin cars work so well together, and they've been trying to get organized to where they can get all 3 of them. A.J. Allmendinger in that white car, second in line on the bottom line, and right beside to him to his right is his teammate in the 11, Justin Haley. They tried to get Jeb Burton into that pack as well, but it's tough, Jeff, isn't it, when you're trying to get all 3 cars lined up? That's what happened to Burton. He got in the middle trying to find both of his teammates and went immediately backwards.
Where are you going to go right now? You know, unless a hole creates itself, like Haley right now, he wants to fall in behind Allmendinger, but there's somebody behind Allmendinger. There's no way to go, so you just got to keep working and working. Eventually, when that opportunity creates itself, you got to just make it happen. But right then, there wasn't an opportunity.
We have to remember Ryan Sieg. The team did shift over from Chevrolet to Ford, and he has a great record at this racetrack. Almost won here several years ago.
When we talk about Ryan Sieg in the 39 and that 68 of Brandon Brown, those are 2 names that are at the top of my mind for really upsetting the playoff picture. I mean, both those guys currently below the cut line. A win and they're advanced. They're in the top 20 of points. So they're high enough up that a win would definitely do it. So it's impressive as you see this 68, a family-owned operation. I think it might lead this lap here at Daytona. It's going to be close.
We have to imagine that, as we talk about Brandon Brown and his, a win would get him into the playoffs. You put all your eggs in one basket when you come to Daytona if you're a team like that? I think you absolutely do. You bring the best of everything you got, and they're going to push him out in front.
There's a line of Chevrolets and really good Chevrolets on the bottom of this racetrack. Look at them all. They found themselves on the bottom. They're going to work very hard to push Brandon Brown out in front of this, Dave.
And Brandon Lyons, his spotter, has changed the communication piece with Brandon Brown. Earlier, when he used the word drag, Brandon Brown, the driver, thought he meant to do the side drafting, but he meant to drag on the brakes so that the white car of Allmendinger could push him. He did that much better and has put the 68, the lemonade yellow 68, out in the lead.
You mentioned the lemonade yellow. Brandon Brown has original Larry's Heart lemonade on the hood, and I point that out. This guy has done a great job on social. He did that whole kind of used car salesman shtick, and he has seen new partners come on board. So extremely happy for Brandon-Built Motorsports and Brandon, and doing a nice job. And look at that, like a veteran, toes him to the top, Junior. He says, man, I got the lead. Let's see if I can get this lane around the top.
Let's see how this works out. AJ's got to run here. He's going to take it to the inside. That's going to be difficult for Brandon Brown to defend, and he's going to lose several spots here. He's got some help on this outside line to help him sort of regroup.
Well, if I'm the 7 of Justin Allgaier, I already said on the radio how good the 16 is. I'm making sure all my teammates know we're going to have to stack up against him. We're going to have to split him and his teammates up, and we're going to have to use numbers as 3 Junior Motorsports cars line up behind Allgaier.
AJ takes them back to the top, hoping to organize everybody to the top. Follow me. Will they do that? Or will they dive to the inside and try to take the lead? We saw Noah Gragson do that earlier in the race. The veteran Allgaier may have different thoughts.
And we mentioned damage. That 4th car in line, that 8 of Sam Mayer, he was sliding through the asphalt on that inside of the racetrack on that wreck we saw. So, you know, did a nice job. Crew repaired whatever damage there was, and his car's back up to speed as we see Justin Allgaier's heart rate was up around 160, now down around 150.
You guys mentioned it. Now Allmendinger's drugged that top lane all the way up against the wall, right? And now everybody in that top lane's got to be very disciplined to stay there, not make a move until the right time to kind of move that inside lane out of the ability to make positions.
Can this bottom line organize and get going and take it to those guys running the top? Back in Xfinity racing action here at Daytona. We got a caution on the speedway. Some debris from the 90 car, Cesar Baccarella, Parkland, Florida. Had a little contact out there, Steve.
Yeah, we were trying to figure out. We saw the debris fly off, and right here is a great view of it. So there's Cesar in the 90, and right behind him is the 23 of Blaine Perkins. And Blaine pulls out as Baccarella. I don't know if he got a little loose or just got high, got out of the gas. I'm not sure if it was an issue that caused him to slow down, but the 23 avoiding the 90 peels that left rear quarter panel like opening a soup can. That thing just peeled right off. And a couple cars hit it. I think Myatt Snyder was awarded the free pass, so that puts Myatt back on the lead lap in the 2 car.
That little bit of debris on the racetrack can do some damage. You see the front of Landon Castle's car. They'll have to work on that a little bit as it punched a hole Right under the headlight there. Car's coming to pit road. Parker.
Sam Mayer in the 8 here, making his first ever Super Speedway starter, is one of those to pit. You see just fuel only for the 8 car there as he's away. Marty.
Noah Gregson pits from 3rd, and Dave Ellens promised he was going to call the race very aggressive. You see them coming down right here. Also, A.J. Allmendinger, the leader. They're going to go with 4 fresh Goodyear tires for the Dinger as well. Steve, 50 laps to go in the race. It is tight here to the end of the race, but I'm thinking everyone thinks this might be their last stop of the day, potentially.
Yeah, we thought they could go 45 to 47. That's under green, so you're trying to find 3 laps. You know you have a caution coming in just 10 more laps, so you start saving now, you should be okay. Find me a little gas.
Less than 10 laps to go in stage 2 here at Daytona. Coming up after Xfinity race, we'll have post-race coverage. At 5 p.m., Chase, the documentary with Chase Elliott. 6 p.m., we got Countdown to Green leading up to Cup Series racing from Daytona on NBC. Remember, guys, anybody can win here at Daytona.
4 cars crash off turn number 4 at the line. David Riggin will win the Coke 0400.
Caution flag number 6 comes out.
Race has been declared official. We'll need the 43 to victory lane.
Eric Almirola is the winner.
He's going to get it at the biggest stage. Stenhouse Jr. wins at Daytona.
Boys, you had this thing too done.
Eric Jones has won at Daytona.
Career-defining night for that kid.
Justin Haley has won his first ever Monster Energy Cup Series race.
It's just unreal. I don't know how to feel.
What better place to do it, Daytona?
How about that race, boys and girls?
1776, we are the champs.
A lot of Cinderella stories here at Daytona. There's your playoff standings coming into tonight's race for the Cup Series. Tyler Reddick right there, 25 points above the cut line. Now, if any of these guys right here, these are the guys that are sort of outside the playoffs. If they win this race tonight, they lock themselves in. All these guys are going for that opportunity.
Yeah, and some of the names here have wins, some don't in their careers. Well, the last 3 Cup Series winners here in the summer, it was all their first time, right? So how about Chase Briscoe? Maybe get his first ever win, go to victory lane. Or Ross Chastain. I mean, it would be a huge upset to the playoff picture. And this is a track that it can't happen.
Let's get a quick update for Parker.
Right, and another driver in the Xfinity Series that could play that upset there is that 02 of Brett Moffitt. Remember, he had to get in the top 20 points. He got some stage points in the first stage. That vaulted him into the top 20. A lot of people had their eye on that 02 who finished second here back in February. He could be a huge upset in these playoffs.
Riley Herbst on the outside lane. He is in a battle trying to point himself into these playoffs, staying out to try to get points for this stage win right here.
Now those 4 teammates you pointed out aren't on the front row. They're split up a little bit with 1 second car on the inside. We'll see if they can find a way to get lined up.
Brandon Brown remains on the inside of that front row, trying to stay up front and keep that track position. Brandon with a great jump on the restart there is able to clear in front of Herbst. He pulls up in front of the 98. Herbst trying to do something with a little bit of momentum that he has. He's going to drop down in front of his teammate in the 99 of Briscoe.
A little further back, Algar He's the first one to form that middle lane. He's got good pushers behind him. One of them left.
Yeah, Sam Mayer gets in the back of the 0-2. Shoots him to the middle of the draft there. Sam continues forward with the help from his teammate. Organization on the outside there with all the Chevrolets, the JRM Chevrolets of Sam Mayer and Noah Gragson.
Sam Mayer's first ever Super Speedway race leading Daytona.
It's not supposed to look this easy. This young man doing a great job.
And an ARCA practice. That's the only thing he's done here before.
Wow, that top line, very organized. A lot of cars you see at the bottom, very sporadic. That 68 and a couple Fords behind him. Everybody looking to get to that top lane as soon as they can.
There's a great big hole right there behind Algar. There they go.
There goes Jeb. He's going to jump to the inside of Christopher Bell. He's going to bring some of his teammates with him. The JRM cars see that, and they're trying to go down there and block it.
But you mentioned how well they work together. I mean, the 10 goes to the bottom, and who follows? Both Collin cars right behind him.
Doing a little side drafting back there. AJ and the 11 car continue their momentum. The side draft helps bring them back up to Jeb to give Jeb another push, and now they're all clear. Really good job by those guys, not only to work together, but know how to use the draft off the other cars, Dave.
And you see Jeb leading that line. When I talked with his crew chief, Bruce Schlicker, about the weekend, he said, we'll all work together until that last, and then we'll see who's going to play nice. But this team talks about it all the time. Jeb mentioned it on the air yesterday. It's family. We work together, and we want to see a colleague car in victory lane, even if it's not the one I'm driving, Parker.
Right, Dave, and we saw Sam Mayer there stick to the top lane with his teammate Noah Gragson. You know, I asked him, how do you prepare for a Super Speedway race when you've never done it before? He said, I just worked with my spotter, Tab Boyd, who has a lot of experience, won with William Byron here in the Cup Series last year with spotting. I'm just going to listen to him. So guess what happened? When those college cars went to the bottom and formed up, Tab Boyd said, stick with Noah, don't move. They have a monster run. We're good where we're at right here. He listened and now finds himself in fourth, Marty.
Parker, 5 to go in the stage, and they've told A.J. Allmendinger, who sits in second there behind his teammate Jeb Burton, don't do anything crazy here. Ride, let the 10 win this stage. So Collick trying to make sure Jeb Burton, who could use a couple more playoff points, gets one more right now.
Sam Mayer to the inside of the 11. He got a run. He's going to take it. He's going to get a lot of help from his teammates to the bottom of the racetrack, up beside A.J. Allmendinger for second. A.J. tries to get down there in side draft. We got a little trouble here with Brandon Brown in the 68.
He says it's out of fuel, guys, in this 68.
Out of gas on the 68 is just a shocking mistake. Last on pit road at lap 17, they must have figured they could go all the way to the end of this stage, but with only 4 laps to go, he's coasting to pit road. This miscalculation is going to cost the 68
hey, Steve,
a ton of points. Yes, Dave.
So yesterday, leaving the garage during the rain delay, crew chief Doug Randolph told me that they couldn't do this, that they wouldn't make it to the end of the stage. He says, my math doesn't work out. Something must have changed his mind, maybe all the caution laps, but it still wasn't enough to get Brandon Brown to the end of stage 2. This is costly.
This is costly, and at the top you see the battle continue between Junior Motorsports and Colleague Racing. It's a great mix of organizations here.
Side-by-side battle. Coming to 3 to go for the stage win. Can this outside lane build some momentum?
Noah Gragson's got a great run. He's going to go to the top. Jeb's going to jump up there and defend that. The 16 of AJ back to the back bumper, the 9 car again to create another run for Noah.
And Jeb right now, he's watching his mirror. He's spending way more time looking out of the rear window than he is out of the front. Listening to Brett Griffith, the run's coming from the bottom, it's coming from the top, and it's his job to block whichever run starts first.
The problem for Noah is that if he does get a good enough push to do anything, here he's going to the bottom. Jeb is going to go down there and defend that really easily. That's going to back the 9 car up now to the 16. Does the 16 stay with the 9? He does. So the problem for Noah is if he gets a run, what does he do? He knows if he takes that chance and moves down, he's not going to get the help. AJ is not going to push this 9 car by the 10 for the lead.
Noah needs that 8 car on that inside line and that 7 car on the inside line somehow to clear that 16, but that's going to be so difficult to happen.
Justin Haley back there continuing the side draft. That's what, I know those cars have speed, but the guys behind the wheel, Dale, they are working hard. They are working both the draft front to back and also the side draft, working the quarter panels.
Well, it's been pretty calm until now, right? The side drafting's gotten way more aggressive with 2 to go in this stage in.
This is like dress rehearsal.
You know, bad things happen when this gets more aggressive too.
Well, we always talk about trying to understand the move you need to make to win the race. Well, if you're Noah Gragson or Sam Mayer or AJ Allmendinger, this is kind of the plan, right? What can you learn right here for later?
The 7 car almost shuffled to the middle there. He gets right back down in front of Christopher Bell, but that disorganizes that inside line just a little bit. And Sam Mayer, trying to side draft, ends up getting stuck in the middle here.
And that's going to, I think, kill the momentum on that bottom lane, getting 3 wide. The top pretty organized. Jeff Burton happy to see it.
Oh, the 9 gets a little upset there from a push. He's trying to block some runs from AJ. AJ's going to take it anyways. Shuffles the 9 car out. Now the colleague car's back to 1, 2, 3.
You see the blocking left and right from Justin Haley.
Jeff Burton's going to win the stage. Colleague guy's able to get back up front and control this field. Stage win for Haley in the 11, and now a stage win for Jeff Burton. Guys, who can break up this dominance from Colleague? Stage 3 coming up. As we end stage 2, cars coming to pit road. Everybody wants to get to this place right here, Ruoff Mortgage Victory Lane here at Daytona. One of the more impressive victory lanes. Pit stops though, Parker.
Right, the number 98, Riley Herbst, is going to come down pit road and do 4 tires here. The team knew they would be giving up a little bit of track position, but they wanted to go get those stage points. they achieved that. Riley very happy with handling that car right now, Dave.
1001, 1002, just 2 seconds of Sunoco fuel. No Goodyear tires changed on the 10. Same story for the 11 of Justin Haley. Martin, looks like the same on Allmendinger.
Yeah, same fuel only for AJ Allmendinger. All the Kaulig cars leave 1, 2, 3. That's how they came to pit road. 1, 2, 3. So they have kept the group together. That's the key for this final stage.
You see a lot of guys gaining so many positions. This is so tough, Steve, at this racetrack when you have quick gas and goes in the entire field. So many cars on the lead lap coming down pit road. You jump into your pit box, you get gas, and then you're trying to leave your pit box as the rest of the field's trying to get to theirs.
Yeah, very important. You know, so many different strategies and plans and agendas on pit road. You have to understand the guy in front of you, the guy behind you, what the timing of that is. It's very easy to get complacent and just assume they're going to go to the left side and change 4 tires, call your guy out of the box. Next thing you know, you have damage to the fenders. So, but I do love this. We saw earlier, we thought everybody came in, they were going to stretch the fuel, but for the tendency of overtimes here and the strength of those Kaulig and Junior Sports cars, with 38 laps to go, I don't think you want to get too fancy on the strategy. Just go ahead and make sure you're safe on fuel, go back on the racetrack and race this last stage.
Well, with 38 laps to go, we've already seen the Kaulig cars really strong, but that doesn't guarantee success. The last 12 Daytona races here have been won by different drivers. So anybody's at play. If you're on the lead lap right now and your car's in one piece, even sometimes if your car's not in one piece, you can find a way to win this race. We've seen the intensity level pick up as this race has gone on, and that's going to get bigger. And when that happens, we start to see mistakes, accidents, and that tends to take out good cars and open the doors for others.
It's crazy stat there. You see last 12 drivers that have won this race, all different. Nobody's repeated. Let's go down to the Peacock pit box, get a quick word from Dale Jarrett, Brad Doherty.
Hey guys, that was so exciting. Can we just skip to 10 to go and get to this and see what's going to happen? Who knew, for so many years, we had promoters and NASCAR paying money to these drivers to race at certain stages of the race, like the halfway award and things like that. All they needed was a points battle and a few points along the way to race. That was incredible. I can't wait to see the end of this.
Yeah, this is going to be unbelievable. And like you guys are talking about up there, I can't believe how well organized the Kaulig cars are every time we come to a super speedway or speedway racing. I mean, as a driver, how do you do that? How do you get a teammate to agree to stay behind you to let you to win a stage or win anything? I've never seen it. It's incredible. I don't know how you drivers do that.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen at the end of this thing. If they're going to stay lined up until that last lap, should be interesting. Back to you, Dale.
Let's go inside the headset with access to NASCAR Scanner for only $2.99 per month. Listen in on pit strategy, spotter communication, crew chief calls. Hear what your favorite driver has to say during the race. Log on to the app to use on mobile devices. Visit NASCAR.com/scanner to start your subscription today.
It adds to the entertainment value when you listen in on your driver.
Absolutely.
Well, we talk about a different way to kind of watch this race. And Junior, you mentioned it earlier about proving the athleticism, but I think this also proves the intensity. You see right there the whoop live of Justin Allgaier. 173, 177, there it is. Max heart rate of the race was 3 wide, beating and banging coming to the end of the stage. That just proves now all the way back to 127. Calmed himself back down. We talk about, exertion. And it's not physical, right? Like, he's not physically driving the car hard. It's just the anxiety, the pressure of the moment, the intensity of what these drivers are doing. That is fascinating.
I like when you said calm himself back down to 127.
Yeah,
I mean, that's still more than twice his resting rate. 180, that's so uncomfortable. Coming back to green, starting stage 3. Christopher Bell, Noah Gragson lead the field.
First time we've seen Toyota teammates really working together.
Harrison Burton pushing Christopher Bell out front, but here comes that bottom line. You'd think that organization of the Toyotas up top would have been enough to clear all of these guys, but this package here is really racy today. So much more racier, side by side, all day long.
And Harrison Burton right now is wishing they were swapped. You see that big piece of shiny tape on the left front of the 54. He was involved in the Cindric accident earlier. It doesn't seem like it's hurting him a lot, but it's definitely not optimal. I got that one from you. That was one of your favorites, optimal.
Yeah, you can see it's a little bit of a big dent right there, creating a ton of drag on that left front. That hole in the nose the air trying to push that tape back into that hole right there. You see it.
Toyota hasn't won this race at Daytona since Matt Kenseth did it back in 2013. So a long time drought for Toyotas.
They didn't like to hear that stat, man.
That's 98 wins at 26 different racetracks since the last Toyota won here in Daytona, Dave.
Crew Chief Chris Gale told driver Chris Bell in that black and red 54, "You won't be coming back to pit road unless there is a problem. Go get it." Remember, Christopher Bell has not won here at Daytona in a National Series race for NASCAR. And that 54, could the 10th win be in the offing today? Well, not if Noah Gragson has anything to say about it, guys.
I think some of this, battle right here is these organizations know you want to control the race. Even with 35 to go, they think if we can get enough cars lined up, drag them to the top, we'll be in the correct position as the laps close or wind down. As you see now, the 9 goes to the top.
And he got a great push from his teammate, Justin Allgaier, so he goes up to the top of the racetrack to see if he can get any energy off of that outside line. He goes back to the bottom. He's getting information from his spotter on which line's coming. So he sees that outside line coming. The spotter lets him know. He jumps up there, takes the energy and gets pushed away by that 54. The 54 now side by side with the 7. Noah's just sitting there waiting for the spotter to tell him which lane has the momentum.
7 back, 54 coming now.
54 coming now. That's his spotter letting him know. 54's coming now. He jumps up there, gets a little bit of energy off of that car.
You'll drag to 7 now. Even, back bottom.
That outside line's coming.
Top, back top.
Back to the top he goes.
Still in line here.
So the car following the leader is creating energy for that leader, pushing that leader away.
The 20 is going to push the 54. 54 is dragging back to the 20.
Imagine a beach ball between the cars. So the 54 pushes up behind the 9, pushes him further away. RPMs go up. He gets a run. He gets shoved out there.
Only 3 on the bottom.
Couple
7,
car licks.
16 to 11.
You heard that right there. Top starting to form. That's the cue to the driver. The spotter feels like if you don't get to the top, you might be in trouble right here. Look at that top. They're all together. There's no hole to go into.
They're all trying to form up top here to stay top.
They're not trying to form.
Back 54,
Top's formed.
The 10, the 2.
Justin Allgaier, the 16 of Allmendinger, they know they're looking for a lifeboat. They're looking for a spot in that top lane. That's why they are side drafting so hard. They know this critical track position disappearing. Oh, can the 7 slide up? Myatt Snyder's going to close that door.
And no matter how fast your cars are, if you get enough cars on the outside, look at those collet cars. We've seen them.
Look at the 8. The 8's trying to lift for the 7 to allow him to go in there.
Can he do it? Now the 7 should advance by turning to the bottom. Can he advance far enough to get in front of that 8 car? It doesn't look like it's going to happen.
Look at Sam lifting again. Mayor of the 8 letting his teammate.
Oh, this is going to be tough right here, though. Impressive move by the youngster in the 8, helping his teammate out.
I wouldn't have been able to do it. I'd have had sorry, pal. I am not letting you in. I'm here to win this race. This is not productive for me. Gosh, that's hard to watch.
Well, that's the difference between NASCAR Hall of Famer and Xfinity Series rookie. Xfinity Series rookie is, I like my job. I want to do everything I can do to keep it.
And as a rookie, Sam thinks, okay, now Justin's going to work with me the rest of the day. No, he's not. Like, I know you did him a favor, but he's still going to do what's in his best interest.
Let's go down to Marty for some updates.
Hey, Harrison Burton is a young driver, Junior, but he has been outstanding at these super speedway races. He has never finished out of the top 5 here at Daytona. I asked Harrison what's made him so good at these races. He said film sessions with my spotter, Tyler Green. We'll sit down for 3 hours and break down the last race at a super speedway track and what we need to do in this race coming up. He said that communication has been key. And Parker, you know that as a driver, when you can have that time with your spotter, it's critical.
It absolutely is. It's everything at these super speedways, but I got to give a shout out for the comeback of the day, possibly for the 2 of Myatt Snyder sitting there in 5th. He's that red car, 5 cars back on the top lane. Remember, he was involved in that incident coming to the end of stage 1 with the 22 of Austin Cindric. They had left side damage on the car. The team cut away the left side fender, applied a little bear bond. You can see that dent right there on the number, but somehow they got their lap back and find themselves running right now in the top 5. Myatt Snyder looking for his 3rd straight top 10 at a super speedway. What an impressive comeback.
Noah Gragson continues to control this race. You won't miss a thing as we go NASCAR nonstop. Back at Daytona under caution, Colin Garrett, number 26 here, 2017 limited late model champion at South Boston, stuck in the infield grass.
That looks like me and my buddies on a Saturday night when I was 17.
The AMR safety team trying to help him out and get him back on to pit road right there.
A man in the orange.
Here's what happened. Coming off of turn 4, fellas. Let's break it down. There's Colin Garrett at 26 coming up the racetrack. Looks like he gets loose or gets some help. Either way, the car gets turned around backwards.
Yeah, it's hard to say from that angle, Junior, to your point, whether it was just a handling or a contact situation. And then the 9 of Noah Gregson's going to work really close to this pace car to try to get the debris off the front of that car.
So he was leading the race. Temperatures were rocketing up in that 9 car. We looked at the grill, tons of debris across the grill. A similar situation that we had last night with the 19 car Jones. It ended up breaking the engine.
Might be one piece on it. It's kind of hard to see.
This grill was covered when we looked at it before the caution. So this caution was a break for this 9 team. He was going to have to either give up the lead to do this to another race car, right? Or come to pit road. But the caution comes out, he's able to get behind the pace car, and the pressure coming of the air and the air rolling out from under that pace car can peel away that debris. Marty.
Dale, did he learn this from you? He's trying to get that last little piece of debris off. The temps were 235. As crew chief Dave Ellen said, that doesn't worry me as much, but let's use the pace car here to get it off. He said 265 is when I start to worry. 280, that's our day, meaning they would be done for the afternoon.
You see that little bitty piece of debris on the right side of the grill? This is what it looked like before. So he's got by far the majority of it off. Steve, you and I were debating whether you would have it come off or not. Maybe it was best to keep it on there, and then when you're out front, you'd have less drag on the car. And then when you got back in the pack, it may overheat. But in the pack, you should be able to get that removed. But they did the safe thing. You and I, we were gambling. It's a lot easier for us sitting up here.
Well, the ramifications of us being wrong is really nothing. We just look silly on TV. They're wrong, their day's over. So a little bit bigger gamble for them. That little piece of debris I don't think will hurt it at this point, especially if you can stay towards the front. That's the toughest part about deciding how much tape to run on these cars. Well, Junior, are you going to lead or are you going to be in the pack? I have to leave the grill open so you can run in the pack. So actually when you're the leader, the thing runs probably too cool, but you know, it's not that easy to adjust.
Dave, what you got?
Jeb Burton runs really well here at Daytona, has a couple of top 10s in the Truck Series and a couple of top 5s in the Xfinity Series. And we mentioned earlier that the veteran spotter, Brett Griffin, is helping him out today. So when Jeb asked what the plan was in the end, do you want me to take control of what do you think we're going to do? Brett just said, just keep listening. He wouldn't tell him. He's going to tell him when the time comes where he wants the 10 car to be. For now, Jeb is still in the dark, doing what he knows to do, which is listen to his spotter.
Yeah, Dave. I think Brett would have been fine telling Jeb, but the problem is everybody else is listening, right? So every team is monitoring everybody else, and that is what these colleague teams want to do. They want to keep that plan amongst themselves. They don't want to let everybody else know. It's going to be interesting to see. Now it's a whole new ballgame. Now that we got this caution, it's going to mix the field back up. Whole new ballgame. Jeb's going to be looking in that mirror trying to find his colleague teammates, but they're pretty far back right now.
Yeah, but I thought the rest of the field had done a nice job of separating them. When it was a little single file around the top, they had a lot of cars between those colleague cars. It was going to be hard if it was, say, 5 to go when the moves came, Junior. It's going to be hard in 5 laps to find your teammates and make a run. Now we'll have a restart. The whole thing will get shook up a little bit more. I would expect those 3 to try to find each other sooner.
Yeah, they got enough pace in those cars to be able to get right back to the front when they need to. Plenty of racing left. A lot of laps with 25 laps to go. You could be headed on a VIP trip to the 2022 Daytona 500. Just visit NASCAR.com/Daytona 500. Enter the code FC400 for your chance to win. All right, it's time for the Ruoff Mortgage Keys to Victory Lane, guys.
Well, the first one's the simple one, but it's the hardest perhaps to do, and that's avoid the big one. If you want to have a chance today when the big one comes, and I think there's another one coming, you have to find a way to avoid it.
I think equally as hard could be beating these colleague guys. Can anyone do it? Can they team up and find a way to have some more speed than these guys?
And with us closing in on the playoffs, might we have a surprise winner? Somebody that, you know, we don't expect, but somebody also that might punch their ticket to get themselves into the playoffs later this year. We got a few races left. Daytona, Darlington, Richmond, and Bristol. And we're going to start determining who's going to win this championship.
And I'll add, even if it's not a surprise winner, we have some teams that I expected to have won by now. I think of the 9 of Noah Gragson. I think of 20 of Harrison Burton. These are cars that in February I would have considered championship favorites, or at least part of the conversation in the top 5, 6, 7 cars in the series, yet winless. So while they don't need a win to make the playoffs, the points would be nice. Perhaps more important than the points, just some momentum. Right? I mean, these are drivers that are in a series. They are the top drivers in this series. You know, in that group of top drivers, they are here to win races. And when you look at a guy like Harrison, we know he's moving on to Cup next year. Well, we all know what that step's like, Junior. You know, I'm not saying he won't win a race his rookie year, but we know how tough that is. He's going to go from battling on front rows to battling big pack. That's the expectation when you move into Sundays. So you want to have a great finish to your Xfinity Series career. Get those wins.
You definitely want to come out of here on fire with a lot of momentum and a lot of confidence and excited about what you did in the Xfinity Series and your move to the Cup Series, Jeff. And I know he's prepared for this all his life. A win at Daytona today would boost his confidence, really help that team's momentum going into the rest of the season. Teams lined up here double file. Let's get some updates before this green flag from Parker.
Well, Dale, one of the drivers we thought could maybe be a shock winner here, and talking to a lot of people in the garage, they thought this car would be a contender, was the 02 of Brett Moffitt. But as you can see, that nice white hood there has a lot of black bear bond on it. Got a little bit of damage in that last incident there, and now had to put a lot of that bear bond there. There's a hole in the front that could slow him down, although he's run really fast, Dave.
Parker, Justin Haley has won 3 out of the last 5 super speedway races, so he's very good in that 11 car. The problem is right now, he's not with his teammates. Remember, they finished 1, 2, 3 in both the first stage and the second stage. Haley predicts over the radio that there's going to be a big wreck up there. He doesn't want to be in it, Marty.
Well, Dave, a moment ago, we said who can beat the Colleague cars? Noah Gragson says, I can. I think I have the speed to do it. Also, that debris we talked about on the grill, there is still one more piece. Dave Ellens told me I'm not worried about it. Noah Gragson has been aggressive all day long. He has the speed, and some teammates back there, Ken the 9, pull off the win and beat those Colleague cars.
Junior, I'll go one further. We saw the 02 of Brett Moffitt coming off with that damage. Man, with 24 to go, I might be coaching him the other way. Say, hey, man, we're not in the pack. Let's just cruise right here. Let's just cruise these last 20, because these guys up front, they're going to be crazy. I would be betting my best chance to win this race now is, what was the line item 1? Avoid the big one. Now he perhaps is a good spot to avoid it. Another thing that comes to mind with 24 laps to go is, you know, we have 5 drivers that are going to take part in the Cup race later today. You don't think about Daytona being an exhausting type race, but after seeing that heart rate from Allgaier in the heat of the day, going to be important for those drivers. Hydrate and get ready for another long 400 miles tonight.
The green flag is back out. 24 laps to go, 23 laps to go. Great organization on the inside and the outside line as we head off into turn 1. The Toyotas are hooked together. Christopher Bell being pushed by Burton. The side draft from the 9. That's going to help him take the lead, but oh! The 20 slides up the racetrack in front of Justin Allgaier. Here comes the 10 of Jeb Burton down the inside. Jeb Burton with a great move. Help from Maya Snyder into second place.
And now they're 3 wide. A minute ago, everybody was single file. Now it's chaos. Trying to push the issue. Whole different ball game now, guys.
Cup regular Christopher Bell continues to control this field. When you have a Cup regular in these fields with the Xfinity guys, it does definitely change the vibe. It changes the energy.
And every time the leader goes down to the corner and runs the top, you can almost see, I call them the dancing ants, the bottom row and the middle row. They don't really want to be there. They're concerned. You talk about it, Junior. When the top gets formed, you have about a lap. And if you don't get there, you're losing spots.
It looks like, you know, when you have that Cup regular leading the field, a lot of these guys are more apt to follow him rather than contest him. And so you see Jeb Burton more than happy probably to be running second behind this 54. Those guys are less likely to jump out of line. That gives that outside line the opportunity to form, to organize, and you see it, the inside line struggling to make anything happen.
And Maya Snyder at 2 car, he had a decision to make right there. Stay on the bottom or go to the top. He had a little bit of help behind him. He made the decision to go to the top.
You see the 54 of Christopher Bell leading the race, driving that Toyota. Well, our Toyota driver update, it's not on one driver, but it's on those stats you guys mentioned. Since last Super Speedway win all the way back in 2014 at Talladega, 88 total wins at 25 different tracks. Their success is undeniable, but they really want to do it here at the World Center of Racing, Dave.
Remember the last time Christopher Bell raced this 54 for Joe Gibbs Racing? It was at New Hampshire. It was because he wanted laps at that track so that he could do well on the Cup race. He won in the Xfinity race. He finished second in the Cup race the next day. Having a great day so far in Xfinity. Maybe tonight he can make it 2 for 2 in the Cup race.
I really feel right now if Jeb Burton wanted to hang a left, just pull the line with him, they can easily go by Christopher Bell, but they're afraid to. Jeb's afraid to make that turn because if he doesn't get help, people don't go with him, he's going to get hung out. So no, it's a game of who's going to make the move first. Who's going to try to get that bottom lane working to build forward momentum. Marty.
Hey guys, Justin Allgaier a moment ago came on the radio after the restart and said if we are going to win this race, it's going to take teammates. He said I timed everything perfect on that restart. I went when I should have gone, and they just flat drove away from me. You watch his whoop data, 145 beats per minute sitting in the draft right now. But on that restart, he felt they left him. He said we're going to have to work together as JRM if we're going to beat the Kaulig cars.
It's a tough balance between trying to help your teammates and trying to do what you need to do to win. You want, you know, if you're a driver, you're out there to win this race. Yes, you want to help your teammates win. You can, but you can't always do that. It's a tough, tough balance to make that work. And let's take a look at replay here, Jeff.
That Christopher Bell got the lead. So he's got some help from a teammate, not a ton of help. But as they go down the back straightaway, he runs up the racetrack, gets a big side draft on Noah Gragson, just pulls Noah back, and then the outside line goes with with Christopher Bell, and that allows him to get out front. So a great side draft and some help from behind, that got him the lead.
Now it comes down to the waiting game. You know, we start talking, we see Bell leading, Burton second, Gragson, Allgaier, the 98, and Allmendinger. So much comment about the speed of that 16 car. He's kind of stuck back there in 6th. Let's listen into the second place.
Oh, we got a crash on the back straightaway, the 90. Macarella into the outside wall. Oh, more contact. Jade Buford.
31 hit us in the left rear corner.
Matt Mills also in it.
Yeah, the 5-car Matt Mills.
Tough day for the 90. Had that contact earlier. Took the left rear quarter panel off. Oh, we got the 5 right here. Damage on the left front as well.
Yeah, Caesar came back across the track. These guys are just trying to avoid and had contact.
Jade Buford, by that look, looks like it has a broken track bar or a flat tire. It is.
Dog tracking a little bit.
Yeah, it's got some issues.
Well, let's go back and see what happened. This was deep in the field. See Caesar on the bottom of the racetrack.
He's going to come up the racetrack right here, and he's not clear. I think that he crosses the racetrack in front of the 31 car there.
Yeah, Jordan Anderson, owner-driver in that 31 car.
And these other guys here in the back just trying to avoid as Caesar's coming across the racetrack.
Jade Buford, he finished 9th last week, so coming off a good run for him. Unfortunately, see all the hood damage.
See all the devices, roof flaps, hood flaps, all of those devices are basically here to keep these cars on the ground. They're to change the aerodynamic profile of these cars as they spin out. The leaders up there are thinking, man, just when we kind of get settled in, we get a caution at the back. Now we got to go do these restarts all over again.
You know, it's interesting. What is their mindset going to be now, right? We've seen them go to the top as quick as they can, but they're going to drop the green flag with maybe 14, 13 to go. Are you going to try to drag it up to the top, or do you think that we're going to go too wide the rest of the race?
Well, I think it's the guy in 4th to 7th that's going to really make that. The top 4 want to run the top because they have the track position. We're like, let's just get to the top and we'll get single file. I look behind them, right? You look at Allmendinger back there in 6th, Myatt Snyder, Harrison Burton, even Daniel Hemrick. I know he has damage. He thinks he had Justin Haley. You know, these guys, they know that if it gets to the top and they get stuck 7th, 8th, 9th, they're not, you know, out of the question of winning, but it's going to be much more difficult if it's a 2-to-go type move to make up that much ground.
And we have to wonder, too, about tires and whether, you know, running this race during the day has made these cars handle a little bit more difficult. And you see Chase Briscoe coming to pit road to get new tires. That tells me a Cup Series regular says, hey, I want to be more aggressive. Tires may be able to make a difference. Give us a shot here. So that makes me concerned for these guys who are staying out. They're going to get this race restarted, though, in just a few minutes. We'll be right back.
Back at the World Center of Racing, when the Xfinity Series takes the green flag, there'll be 14 laps remaining. Jeb Burton in the orange 10 car has a problem. Listen.
My water temp is going crazy. It's going from 130 to 190, just flickering back and forth. Now it's just flickering all over the place.
FOE pit, don't look at it. That'd be like me telling you I got to pee. Just dry the hell out of it right here.
Spotter Brett Griffin saying there's nothing we can do about it. Now go win the race, Marty.
So Jeb Burton is first on the inside line, Dave. Second on the outside line is Justin Allgaier, who also has electrical issues. We'll see if that affects what he's going to do here, trying to push Christopher Bell. This will be an interesting restart.
I'm interested in that top lane. You see the 3rd car in line of Allmendinger, 5th car in line of Haley. That's the closest those two Kaulig cars have been kind of together in this final stage. We'll see if they can get connected.
Riding on board Justin Haley, listening to him go through the throttle on the restart. Great organization for both lines right here. side draft is so critical today.
Remember, you can't lock bumpers in this series, but on restarts, they give you until turn 2 to sort it out. You get over there into the turn 2 area, you can no longer push.
You can bump draft. Imagine like dribbling a basketball, like bam, 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 in the back bumper down the straightaway.
You can bump draft, you can bump wreck.
Oh, big side draft from Christopher Bell, right on the side of Jeb Burton.
Slows Jeb down, and now Christopher's waiting on the help. He's going to get it from the 7 car of Allgaier. Allgaier had an opportunity there to go 3 wide. Chose to push the 54 car of Christopher Bell back out front.
Let's see what this bottom lane does right here. There's 3 cars on the bottom, close together. There's another one pretty far back. There he is. Mike Snyder coming to help the bottom. Side drafting from Jeb.
Expect that 16 to turn down to get in front of his teammate, the 10 of Jeb on the bottom. We'll see if he does it.
Just have to wonder what kind of confidence he has in that bottom line, staying organized.
Yeah, instead the 10 comes up and puts his nose right on that corner panel. The 20 tries to pull him back. It's made a gap.
That's right. It slowed the 20 down. Now what does Jeb do with it? Does he stay on the bottom? Does he jump in front of Harrison? He just decides to stay on the bottom. He sees Noah Gregson behind him, thinking that's going to be enough help.
I'm shocked. I thought he was going to move up. I thought for sure.
I wasn't sure if our angle was really giving us an idea of whether he was absolutely clear or not, and he probably couldn't get that information from the spotter either, as the spotters are looking at the tail of the cars going off into turn 1.
Can he do it again? If he feels like he needs the top, can he side draft somebody again? The last time he was able to do it, now he's staying on the bottom, trying to stay away from these cars. As he get to the straightaway, let's see what he does. Another big side draft, but just nowhere to go.
You got to be patient, man. Bed's made for the moment.
A little bit of smoke right here in front of these guys. Car down there on the apron of the racetrack.
He's on the apron. He's on the apron. He's on the apron.
Goodness, got my attention.
That really, I think, shook up a lot of these guys that are all probably jumping in and out of the gas. And it's unsettled that inside line. Broken up everyone here.
It allowed Jeb, though, to get to the outside. Now he's in 5th place on the outside. That was a break for Jeb Burton. He saw it and he jumped right into it. And these 2 guys, Noah and Riley, they have nowhere to go right now. No help whatsoever.
Almost didn't happen for Jeb Burton. Spotter Brett Griffin told him, man, when I tell you got to get up there, you got to go. It was nice he had a teammate there that may have backed off just a touch.
So now when you look at the organization, right, we have a Toyota from Joe Gibbs Racing leading, Junior Motorsports second, Collin third. So 3 different organizations, 1, 2, 3.
The spotters are all up there talking to each other. I'm sure those college spotters are right next to each other having conversations. The problem is they can't relay that to the drivers, because once they do, the entire field knows their plan. But if you're A.J. Allmendinger, you're sitting there in 3rd, you have a tremendous amount of confidence when you hang a left that you're going to have Jeb Burton and you're going to have Justin Haley go with you.
Plan here, bud. Nice and patient. Half off all the way back right here.
All right, so you heard that plan. You wonder if that's something that they have already talked about, right? That's kind of code. They know what that all means amongst themselves.
Yeah, what lap they think they need to go, from what position they think they need to go.
Marty, what you got on the 7 car?
Hey, Junior, we talked about the electrical issues for Justin Allgaier. Here's the radio conversation under the last caution about that.
If I have the fans on at all, I have no power. And on starts and restarts, I have no power.
What's your volt read right there, your volt gauge?
Like 41.
Does it go way down when you turn everything on, like riding around here under yellow?
No, it doesn't move at all. That's the part that kind of trips me out. It stays exactly the same when everything's on.
So, Steve, for Justin Allgaier to win this race, he's going to need every ounce of horsepower he's got. Does that worry you as a crew chief?
Well, I mean, it worries you, but there's not much you can do at this point. You're going to have to diagnose it when you're done. You just hope that, you know, maybe it's an electrical gremlin, maybe a short of some sort. There's just only so much you can do at this point. They can diagnose it, but they're not going to pit even if they get a yellow.
Well, Noah Gregson right there, he was fighting, trying to get himself further up the line, but just could not find anywhere to go. Now he's the last car in this line on the outside.
Yeah, it's a unique situation. First half of this line on the outside, they're happy where they are. All these guys in the back half of this are not happy where they are. They're seeing the laps count down. They're getting more and more impatient, and they're going to start making moves, Dave.
You talked about plans that were discussed earlier. 5th place, Jeff Burton in the 10 car. On his second channel, listen to colleague team president Chris Rice.
Brett, all you got to say is plan. He'll know what you're talking about. Therefore, no, we're on our plan.
So that was relayed to Jeb, and it's something they talked about before. So plan. Here we go.
That sounds bad for the rest of the field. I don't think anybody else has a plan. So
they have a hope.
Yeah, the colleague guys are working it out. See the 8 car of Sam Mayer down on the bottom of the racetrack trying to take over a position. He gets a spot, moves right back up into the line. I think that's the way you got to work this, Jeff. When these cars are single file and you do get a run in momentum, you side draft, try to create a hole in front of the car that you're trying to pass, and pass one at a time. All right, don't get too aggressive and go for too many spots. Like he should have pulled right there in front of the 2 car, Maya Snyder. He goes down the racetrack trying to get too many cars. He's basically going to be trained on the outside again. All these cars are going to go right back by him.
Justin Haley on the outside, and he's going to get help right here from Daniel Hemrick.
Impressive battle by the 8. They'll stay on that quarter panel.
He's working hard with that side draft as the laps are clicking off. The side drafts are going to get more and more aggressive. Now we got some more guys committed to that bottom groove.
Now those column cars can have a plan, but as they look over their left shoulder and they see that inside line getting organized, as now they bail back to the top.
Yeah, as soon as you think that inside's going to organize, somebody in that inside line gives up on the commitment. That's why it's so hard to get anything going down there.
Back at the front of this, if this inside line doesn't get formed up, back at the front, if you are Justin Allgaier, you're paying complete attention to the car behind you, Allmendinger, because you know his teammates are a couple rows behind. As soon as Allmendinger makes a left, you got to make a left. You got to put that block on. You can't let that 16 make that move. And then if you're Harrison Burton behind Allmendinger, you got to do the same thing. If he makes a move, you got to go with him. You got to keep those colleague guys separated. That's your only opportunity here.
I think it's a matter of time. These colleague guys are going to hang a left, all 3 of them together. They're going to just drive right around these guys. That's their plan.
You don't want to do it now, though, because you don't want to drag Sam Mayer. You don't want to drag other people into the car.
Get low. With a run.
They all.
Let's go.
Oh, Allgaier, nice job blocking the 3 colleague cars, but now they're going to go to his outside.
Colleague cars are all working together.
10 with you, 11's with the 10. Come on.
Disposing of the 7 car. They have a run on this 54. What does Seabell do? How do you defend against 3 cars all working together?
Impressive work by these colleague guys. They had a plan coming in. That's right, he backed up. He's going to have a huge run here.
Yep, AJ's backed up. He's making the move now to the bottom of the racetrack, taking the lead over from 54, Christopher Bell, his teammate. Jeff Burton follows through to second place.
An advantage inside line. Look at all the momentum on the inside.
Haley back to the top of the racetrack. Justin Allgaier says, I'll try this inside.
11, be ready to block. 10 is with you, half back.
Coming to 3 to go.
That puts Allgaier on the bottom.
Bottom has no help. Stay with 10. 11 is blocking.
7's going to try to squeeze up. There's no longer a hole there.
Now the only strategy is you have to kind of pick them apart one at a time. You're not going to go from 4th all the way up there. You have to get enough of a momentum that you could pull the 11 back and try to get up in front of them. So you're going to have to make these charges earlier, Junior, in my opinion. You can't wait till 1 to go. You have to pass all 3 colleague cars.
Fading. Bottom lane is fading. 1 back to the 10, half back to the 11.
If I'm one of these cars on the top lane, I'm going to the bottom right now. I'm going to try to build more cars on that bottom lane.
Well, right behind the colleague cars, we have 3 Toyotas from Joe Gibbs Racing. What could they do? They have great help, great commitment. I think if they make a move, look here, Christopher Bell to the inside of Justin Haley.
Is there room for Harrison? Harrison goes with him.
I like this move. Now that they try to split up these colleague cars, even if the 54 can pull back up in line, it would be worth doing to try to split them up.
Hemrick's going to help the 11, though. That's going to make things difficult for that inside line.
Well, the 11 now is going to have a lot of momentum, and just like that, the 3 colleague cars are back together. You have to split them up.
Here comes Christopher Bell to the inside.
block the bottom, inside, stay with the 10,
He's inside the leader, Christopher Bell, but he has no help. Jeff Burton with a great push on the 16 of A.J. Allmendinger. He pushes A.J. back into the lead. Christopher looking for help on that inside line. Harrison Burton comes up to help the 20 car, the 54 car, off of turn 4.
That 3 wide behind is killing the energy on the inside line.
Little side draft from the 10 car. We got 1 lap to go here, presented by Credit One. Who's going to bring it back around and take the checker? AJ's got a huge lead. Is it too big? As the field gets a run on this 16 car through turns 2. Christopher Bell has the organization in the bottom groove.
Stay bottom.
Algar to the middle,
There you go, 10 pushing, good work, 10 inside with a 10, 11 with you, middle 3, clear bottom, get to the bottom.
The colleague cars.
Get to the bottom.
Controlling the field, off of turn 4. A.J. Allmendinger with the help, but the outside line has the momentum. Haley crosses the finish line and wins. Incredible finish, Justin Haley.
11 got it.
His 4th win, all on super speedways in the Xfinity Series. Incredible to watch those guys work together, and then on the back straightaway the last lap, it was every man for himself.
Front 3 right
Could you believe it? They were 3 wide through turns 3 and 4 trying to settle this win.
Yeah, when you said they were going to, work together, I thought nose to tail, not door to door. 3 guys had the whole track. You see the emotion out of Justin Haley, what it meant to get that win, and he has proven to become a unbelievable restricted plate racer. Always finds his way to these plate tracks.
It looked like A.J. Allmendinger may have had the best help in the middle line, but Justin Haley, with a push from that 18 of Daniel Hemrick, is able to get to the finish line first. There's the owner.
He's going to feel good. This guy's going to drive his Cup car next year. And he's thinking, man, at least I know 4 races. He knows exactly what he's doing.
I believe he just said, how's that kid so good on these races?
This company just keeps winning races, coming off an incredible win in the Cup Series, the Indianapolis Road Course, setting themselves up for an incredible run into the playoffs. Points earned today, the top 3 are all colleague cars. Haley with 58 points, A.J. Allmendinger with 53, Jeff Burton with 51. That tightens up that regular season points battle between A.J. Allmendinger and Austin Cindric. You love to see the emotion from a guy who wins at Daytona. How much this place means to these drivers, Marty.
It is so cool to watch Justin Haley kind of take this one in. You saw the emotion in the car. What an incredible run for Colleague Racing as well. See tears coming there, Justin. Why is this one so meaningful?
It's just not been the best season. It's been really, really hard on this number 11 Leaf Field Garbage Action team all year. I've had a lot of bad luck, so I was trying to formulate the plan there, and obviously team orders. Saw it the other day, they were so good, but hats off to Colleague Racing. I think we got the teammate thing down, and it's just so special to win here at Daytona. I won here twice at Daytona, and neither time did I get to see anyone in the front stretch. So thank you guys for finally being here. I love you. But hats off to Chevrolet, ECR Engines, RCR, everyone that's a part of this company. It's absolutely incredible. That was a close one, and getting it to just beat out AJ always means a lot too. You mentioned the team orders. We heard Chris Rice say plan, plan, plan to all 3 drivers. What's the plan for you to be the one up front in the 11? Well, that's always the plan. I was trying to relay my message to Kevin Hamlin that the 10 needed to make the move, not me, to be able to pull it off. So Man, what an incredible day. Like I said, this season's been so hard. I got the Fraternal Order of Eagles, number 77 Spire Motorsports car that we're going to go try to sweep the weekend. I've been close. I finished second and first here before, so clean sweep would be pretty cool. But appreciate everyone at home. It's for sure pretty cool to win here at Daytona for my third-ish, fourth time.
There you go. An emotional day for Justin Haley. He gets to victory lane. And Dave, what a run for Kaulig Racing.